Hi, everyone. It's September 8th, 2025 at 6 p.m. And I now declare the Nairn Highland Council open for business. Any declarations of pecuniary interest? Yeah, you have two there. So the first one, I, Karen Richter, declare pecuniary interest in item 4B on September 8th, 2025. I'm asking for a minor variance for bunkie build on 112 Nagy Bay Road. I confirm that I will not vote on the matter. I will not take part in discussion on any question in respect to the matter, and I will not attempt in any way, whether before, during, or after the meeting, to influence the voting on any such question. And we have another one. I, Wayne Austin, declare a pecuniary interest in item 7G on September 8th, 2025. That a family member is involved. I confirm that I will not vote on the matter. I will not take part in the discussion on any question in respect of the matter. I will not attempt in any way before, during, or after the meeting to influence the voting on any such question.
Just a point of order, I didn't do that, but I just thought because we were just stepping out before, do I have to do that for every time he does a report? Okay, then I won't want to go.
Okay.
That is 7.
Oh, 7G.
7G.
That's fire chief.
Why not? Don't get mine, but. And I moved in before it was finished because I had a guy. Okay.
So Trevor McVeigh, declaring a pecuniary interest with item 7G for tonight. He's a volunteer firefighter. I confirm that I will not vote on the matter. I will not take part in discussion or any question in respect to the matter, and I will not attempt in any way, whether before, during, or after the meeting, to influence the voting on any such question. And next we have our delegation. This is Jasmine Shad, asset manager advisor with PSD Citywide. For the public, this is a report that cost us a lot of money, not that it's Jasmine. And is basically, encouraging us how to manage our assets, so that we can maintain them in the long term. Hi, Jasmine.
Hi, good afternoon. Is everyone able to see my screen?
Yes, I think so.
Perfect. Okay, well, thank you for the opportunity to speak today. You might remember me from a few months ago. As was said, my name is Jasmine Shad. I'm an asset management advisor with PSD Citywide, and I have worked with your team to develop this 2025 asset management plan, which will be the focus of my presentation today. So I'll start off with just a quick refresher on the provincial regulation, followed by the details of your 2025 Asset Management Plan, or AMP. And I'd be happy to take any questions at the end if there are any today. Okay, so as I'm sure you know, the province introduced Regulation 588-17 under the Infrastructure for Jobs and Prosperity Act. So this regulation sets out the requirements for municipalities in Ontario for asset management planning, which requires all municipalities to develop an asset management policy and submit increasingly detailed asset management plans between 2022 and 2025. Okay, so for 2025, the regulation required municipalities to prepare an asset management plan that includes a complete state of the infrastructure, which will provide an inventory and condition assessment of all of your assets. It must also have proposed levels of service options, and the life cycle costs that are needed to maintain those service levels over the long term, and also to assess the impacts of anticipated growth on your infrastructure needs, and then finally outline a financial strategy that demonstrates how the township will fund the capital requirements in a sustainable manner. Okay, so when we talk about asset management planning, we typically divide assets into two different categories. So your core assets for your township would include your roads and the water system. And then we have non-core assets, which would cover everything else, like your fleet and equipment and your municipal buildings. So this distinction just helps to make sure that we're using funds efficiently and focusing on the assets that are most critical to public service and safety. It also gives us a valuable tool for communicating your priorities. So both internally with staff and council, but also externally with the public and funding bodies. Okay, so the total current replacement cost of the township's asset portfolio is estimated at $69.5 million, distributed between the asset categories on the chart below there. So this valuation reflects the cost in today's dollars to replace all of your assets, which is based on the most recent inventory available as of December 31st, 2024. So for all asset categories, any new assets that have been commissioned or acquired after the end of 2024 are not included in the current figures that are shown here, and should just be incorporated into your future updates to ensure that the AMP remains current and reflective of your full asset base. Okay, so regarding condition, about 68% of your infrastructure is currently in fair or better condition. And it's also important to note that that average is weighted by replacement cost, which means that your higher value assets will have a greater impact or influence on that overall condition score. And roughly 80% of the assets, we had actual assessed condition scores available from staff. And then for the rest, we've relied on asset age to estimate the condition. So obviously age-based condition estimates are helpful, but having real condition data is incredibly valuable. And it does give us a better picture of how assets are actually performing, and then helps us to make those decisions around maintenance and replacement priorities. Okay, so based on your current replacement values, the average annual capital need across the asset portfolio is estimated at $1.6 million. And on the chart, that would be indicated by the red dotted line there. So this represents a full funding approach, meaning the amount required each year to fully sustain your assets over the long term without deferring any investment. So your actual annual spending may vary from this, but this figure does serve as a useful benchmark just for setting your capital investment targets or guiding reserve contributions. So in this chart, capital costs have been grouped into 5-year buckets just to show how those needs may fluctuate over time. Now for roads, your life cycle events such as surface treatments were included in this average annual requirement just to reflect a more cost-effective rehabilitation approach. And then for all of your other assets, those costs would be based on full replacement assumptions. The chart also highlights a $3.8 million backlog which represents assets that have exceeded their estimated useful lives, but still remain in service. So obviously, not all of these assets are necessarily in poor condition or require immediate replacement, but the presence of this backlog does underscore, again, the importance of ongoing targeted condition assessments. So a really good example would be a vehicle with an estimated useful life of 10 years that has low mileage and it's in good condition, but it has remained in service for 11 years. So technically, this asset would fall into that backlog in our analysis just because of that lack of an assessed condition score. Okay, so as part of the provincial requirements, municipalities in Ontario were to explore different funding strategies to support their levels of service over the long term. So to help guide that decision making, we developed 3 different funding scenarios that were presented a few months ago now, each reflecting a different approach to gradually increasing capital funding over a 15-year period. So scenario 1 proposes a phased tax increase of approximately 4.7% per year and a phased water rate increase of approximately 5.2% per year. And this would allow the township to reach full funding within 15 years. Scenario 2 assumes a more moderate phased tax increase of around 3.4% and a phased water rate increase of 4.2% annually, which would allow you to achieve about 75% of the total funding needs within the same time frame. Now, scenario 3 takes a much more conservative approach with a phased tax increase of 1.8% and a phased water rate increase of 3%, which would result in about 50% of full funding after 15 years. Okay, now each of these scenarios definitely has different key risks and trade-offs that were considered through this process. So the full funding scenario offers the highest level of service reliability and that long-term sustainability, which also supports your strategic infrastructure priorities and allows the township to maintain current service levels. Now, the biggest trade-off there is that it also requires the most significant financial commitment. And the 75% funding scenario offers a more balanced approach. It helps to manage infrastructure risk while keeping those tax and rate impacts at a more moderate level. The 50% funding scenario involves the least financial pressure in the short term, which may be considered appropriate given the township's size and financial realities. It does, however, come with some long-term considerations, if you will, including the potential for more service disruptions, reactive maintenance costs, and the potential need for future catch-up investments later on. So ultimately, the 50% funding scenario was chosen, and the township has taken a very measured and financially cautious approach there, just to reflect your current capacity while remaining aware of those risks that may emerge over time. Now, in terms of dollars, it was determined that the current available funding across all infrastructure categories is approximately $412,000. Now, when we compare this amount to the average annual capital requirement to achieve the proposed levels of service, which would be estimated at around $811,000, this still does highlight a funding shortfall of roughly $400,000 each year. So that gap represents the difference between what is currently available and what would be needed to maintain, rehabilitate, and eventually replace your critical municipal assets representing that 50% funding level. Now, within the asset management plan, we have included a financial strategy, and that does recommend a phased approach to closing that funding gap over the next 15 years. So for taxation, as I mentioned, the recommendation is to increase those tax revenues by 1.8% annually. Now, that means that all new funding would go directly towards capital needs, such as your reserve contributions or asset replacements in the year. In addition, existing and future infrastructure budgets should be increased annually by the appropriate inflation index. So that would be on top of those planned funding phase-in percentages. For water rates, the recommendation, as mentioned, was 3% annually. So again, all new funding would be dedicated towards those capital needs for your water system. So as with taxation, the budgets should also rise annually with inflation in addition to that deficit reduction strategy. And then any new projects for water will need to be incorporated into long-term financial planning. And your rate strategies may need to be revisited once actual costs for those projects are confirmed. Okay, so the selected approach commits to funding approximately 50% of the township's long-term infrastructure renewal needs over the next 15 years, which reflects the importance of maintaining your critical infrastructure while also being very mindful of the community's financial capacity. This strategy also allows for steady increased investment over time. So it doesn't address every need right away, but it creates that framework for gradual progress. So prioritizing what's most important within realistic financial limits. So at this funding level, the township can make those targeted improvements, especially in areas tied to safety and usability of assets. That being said, some variability in service levels or occasional delays may still occur. The strategy also provides a degree of financial stability in the short term, just helping to limit those immediate tax impacts to the community. And finally, resources should be focused on the highest risk assets, helping to reduce the chance of major failures, especially during that phase-in period where you're still ramping up to that funding level that's targeted. And given some of these trade-offs, it is important that this approach be reviewed regularly by staff and council to assess how well it's working, whether needs or risks have been shifted, and whether adjustments are required over time. Okay, so regarding some next steps, starting in 2026, the focus will shift to putting these strategies that are outlined in the plan into action. So this will include regularly updating your asset data, integrating any new assets into your analysis, and also making continuous improvements to how your infrastructure is managed. And for after 2026, the provincial regulation requires municipalities to update your plan every 5 years. So of course, this will include revising and refining your levels of service and your performance measures using the most current data available. And in addition to those 5-year updates, the regulation also requires that municipal councils conduct an annual review of your asset management plan and record the township's progress in implementing it. Okay, so that's all I had. If there are any questions today, I'd be happy to answer them as best I can.
I have one. On page 4, you've got the Ontario regulations. You've got check marks for 19, 22, 24, and dots for 2025. Can you tell me what the difference between the dots and the checks are?
It honestly, it just means that that was what we were working on today, or
Okay.
not today, this year. But after this year, once this plan is approved by council, they would just be check marks because you're completed after that point.
Okay, thank you.
Counselor Austin?
Can we, how do I put it, change the amounts from what you have set here? For example, 50% funding. If we wanted to raise the water higher and they keep the other at 50%, can we do that?
Oh, 100%. You're not technically bound to anything within your asset management plan, especially since priorities within municipalities in Ontario are constantly changing and evolving. It's really just a commitment to your community that you're setting on your current service levels and tax impacts that they can expect. But by all means, no one who has an asset management plan is restricted to those exact percentages to increase taxes by.
Yeah, like we haven't seen we won't see for a while our actual numbers for dollars as to what it amounts to. And like if you got 50 and 75%, so if we wanted to go to 55%, it isn't, that's okay.
That would be perfectly fine, yes.
It just depends on the numbers we come up with for our taxes for the year. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Well, thank you so much for your time and effort that you put into this, and we appreciate it.
Thank you so much and best of luck as you move forward with your asset management program. Please don't hesitate to reach out if any follow-up is required.
Thank you. Thank you. So next, we have the public meeting, and actually, we need to announce it, and we'll go into that meeting. So moved by Karen Richter, seconded by Trevor McVeigh, be it resolved that council meeting be temporarily adjourned at 6:25 PM for the purpose of a public meeting. All in favor? That's carried. Moved by Karen Richter, seconded by Trevor McVeigh, be it resolved that pursuant to section 53 of the Planning Act, RSO 1990, chapter P13, the public meeting is now officially open for the purpose of hearing comments regarding the following application. 1, application for minor variance, Porteous on 39th Front Street, file number A01-2025, and 2, application for minor variance, Richter 112 Nagy Bay, file number A02-2025. All in favor? That's carried. Okay, so do we just go ahead and discuss the first?
We actually have our planner, JL Richards,
Oh.
here to give us a brief memo
Wow.
on the application. Hi, Connor.
Hi, Brenda. How are you?
Good.
I just probably want to do, we probably want to do one at a time just with the second one.
Sure.
Ms. Richter will have to remove herself, just so I'll get the first presentation, then vote the second one. So we'll
No,
just
I
do
think-
Connor, is that what you said? You're gonna do the first one?
yeah, I'll
and
do
then this-
Porteous 39 Front Street, and then council can deliberate, or if they have any questions, you can let me know and I'll answer, and then we'll go on to the second one afterwards.
Sure.
Okay, so yeah, I'll just give a brief presentation, and then any questions or whatnot, you can just let me know. So for 39 Front Street, the applicants are proposing to vary 4 performance standards in the zoning bylaw to permit an accessory garage on the subject lands. The site is located within Nairn Center in the urban center of the town. It's surrounded by other residential uses. There's 4 variances. There's 2 related to the garage itself in terms of lot coverage and the height, and then there's 2 variances related to the setbacks of the garage, so the location on the property regarding the exterior side yard towards Hall Street. Gerald, I reviewed the application and generally believe that it conforms to the 4 tests as outlined in the Planning Act. It conforms to general intent per the official plan, conforms to general intent per the zoning bylaw, application considered minor in nature, and the variances are desirable and appropriate for the land. We recommend that council approve the application as outlined in our memo.
So are we voting on these separately?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, actually, no, sorry, they are. I did combine them in a motion, so. Oh, no, sorry. My apologies.
So does anyone have any questions about the Porteous
Yes.
property? Counselor Austin?
Okay, the measurements I'm looking at here, are they from the existing roads or the legal road allowances?
They'd be from the legal road allowance.
What's that?
Legal road allowance?
Yeah,
That's what.
Like the way that, yeah.
like it shows here from the edge of the sidewalk. So the edge of the sidewalk is the road allowance? 10 feet from the
That's my
sidewalk?
understanding, correct?
Okay,
Yep, I know that Belinda and I have had to talk before that the structure previous located on the site was even closer to the sidewalk, so
okay,
Any other questions about the Porteous property? They do recommend that we approve it. Counselor McDonald, are you okay with this? So we're okay to go ahead with the motion?
Yeah.
No? Moved by Karen Richter, seconded by Trevor McVeigh, whereas having been satisfied that notices were given in accordance with the Planning Act and be resolved that after due consideration of the proposed bylaws, council hereby concludes that no further notice be given with respect to the proposed minor variance from the provisions of the bylaw for the following property. Minor variance under section 45 of the Planning Act for lands described legally as 39 Front Street, lots 4 and 5, block D, plan MA, Nairn Township of Nairn and Hyman. And council hereby grants approval for the minor variance subject to the outline conditions in the notice of decision document. All in favor? That's carried.
Okay, so I'll just get everyone to sign right now, the decision documents. Yep. Yeah, yeah, there. It's just the notice of decision. Read it.
Right here?
Yeah. Yep.
That's great, Connor. So if we can move on to the 112 Maggie Bay.
So this minor variance application looks to vary 2 performance standards of the zoning bylaw to permit a sleep cabin on the subject lands. The property is located on Wapashiki Lake in the rural area of the town. It's surrounded by other seasonal residential uses on the lake. The property currently has already a seasonal dwelling and a couple of accessory structures. So applicant's proposing to add an additional accessory structure, which is permitted under the zoning bylaw. Two variances are needed in this case, one for the height and then one for the area of the sleep cabin. Its area size wise is too large as per the bylaw. The applicant isn't proposing any servicing for the cabin, so there's no concerns in terms of water or sanitary or septic or any of those items. We reviewed the application and we believe that it conforms to the general intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw. The application conforms to the general intent and purpose of the official plan. It's considered minor in nature and it's overall desirable and appropriate for the land. Therefore, we recommend council grant approval of the minor variance application.
Okay, any questions for Connor? Nothing from Counselor McVeigh, nothing for you, Counselor Austin? No, I don't have any questions. That sounds great.
Awesome.
Thank you for your work.
Just need to go over.
Who would like to move this? Counselor Austin. So moved by Counselor Austin, seconded by Counselor McVeigh, whereas having been satisfied that the notices were given in accordance with the Planning Act, and be it resolved that after due consideration of the proposed bylaws, council hereby concludes that no further notice be given with respect to the proposed minor variance from the provisions of the bylaw for the following property. Minor variance under section 45 of the Planning Act for lands legally described legally as 112 Nagy Bay Road, Lot 3, Concession 3, PC or Parcel 21002, Township of Narren and Hyman. And council hereby grants approval for the minor variance subject to the outline conditions in the notice of decision document. All in favor? That's carried. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Have a great evening.
You too. You surprised me. I didn't know he was coming.
Oh, sorry.
It's- Is it? Karen, I think I'll have to.
Yeah.
Karen, where are you? Come on. Big ones, they don't have those. You pick another house. Yeah.
Multitasking.
So next is discussions arising from previous council minutes. Is there anything anyone would like to discuss? No, do we need to do anything about that?
Just past that and, oh, just to clarify, there was, just a vocabulary error in the regular council meeting minutes of July 14th. Just, we had an error in one of Mayor Maisie's quotes. There
It
was
was
a double.
Yeah, it was a
negative.
double negative, right? So it was taken off a transcript, so. If you read it, it was obvious what it said. So actually, why don't we just read if you have it right there.
So that was the original.
Yeah, the original was, I said it wasn't not monitored as much in the past as it is now. We're talking about the Agnew Lake site. So it's obvious that I was saying
It wasn't monitored.
it wasn't monitored as much in the past as it is now, right? Yeah, it wasn't monitored, yeah. So there was that change. So next we have approval of the minutes, moved by Counselor Richter, second by Counselor McVeigh. Be it resolved that the following council minutes be accepted as presented. A, special council meeting minutes of July 14th, 2025. B, regular council meeting minutes, July 14th, 2025. C, special council meeting minutes, July 15th, 2025. D, closed session meeting minutes, July 15th, 2025. E, emergency council meeting minutes, July 25th, 2025. And closed session meeting minutes, July 25th, 2025. All in favor? That's carried. And that was a busy summer. There's a lot of stuff. And then. So moved by Karen Richter, second by Counselor McVeigh, be it resolved that the minutes and report items of 7A to G are noted as received. All in favor? That's carried.
This is just moving,
The asset manager.
yes, and whether we want to adopt it.
So any concerns about adopting the asset management plan? Yeah, no. Moved by Karen or Counselor Richter, second by Counselor McVeigh, be it resolved that council adopts the Township of Narren Asset Management Plan 2025 that has achieved compliance with OREG 588/17 for July 1st, 2025 requirements as prepared by PSD citywide. All in favor? That's carried.
This is just accepting the planning memorandums for the public meeting.
Oh, moved by Counselor Richter, seconded by Counselor McVeigh, be it resolved that council notes the planning memorandum prepared by JL Richards and Associates regarding the minor variance application file number A01 2025 and file number A02 2025. All in favor? That's carried.
Let's go to CEO's report.
So this is accepting or declaring that we had an extreme rainfall. And we had the washout of Minto Street. And this is for us to make a claim through the Municipal Disaster Recovery Assistance Program. So moved by Counselor Richter, seconded by Counselor McVeigh, whereas the municipality of the corporation of the Township of Narren experienced an unexpected extreme rainfall and flooding event on the night of July 16th to the 17th, 2025, and has experienced incremental operating and capital costs. Therefore, be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Township of Narren request the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing to activate the Municipal Disaster Recovery Assistance Program, and further that the CAO clerk treasurer Linda Ketchbaugh is given delegated authority to verify and attest to the accuracy of the attached claim. All in favor? That's carried. And CEO Ketchbaugh, maybe you want to speak to how much time and effort has to go into that claim.
Sure, through you, Madam Chair. The claim through this funding, excuse me. They're requesting a lot of information. Basically, it's a mini audit of the event and all of our expenses and actions and basically a walkthrough of step by step of what had to be done, what was done, what the costs were, and what still needs to be done. So it's pretty extensive. So I'll be working on that over the next month or so. They do give us quite a wide berth of time to submit it. It has to be submitted by November 13th, but it will require a lot of work. We have started compiling a lot of this information. But yeah, it will definitely be some effort on all of our stops. We'll be proceeding with that. But sorry, I'm just gonna add to that, the percentage, if it is activated in our favor, is well worth the effort if the expense is within what we're estimating, which is approximately $100,000. The total eligible costs that could be covered is approximately 89,000.
Yeah, that's awesome.
If
Good for you, because we've never done that before, right?
No, this is something we have never had to.
Sorry. Is there anything else for the Minto Street washout that's done? Oh, your CAO, the financial update, we don't need to discuss, okay?
Unless you want to.
Anything about the financial update? Moved by Karen Richter, seconded by Counselor McVeigh, therefore be it resolved that council accepts the 2025 second quarter financial update as presented, all in favor? That's carried.
And I just asked a question, I missed something along the way here.
Okay,
We changed over to a public meeting for the two things.
you're right.
Oh, you're
Did you come
right.
back on that?
No, we didn't leave it.
Right.
Well, you're on ball.
I
Yeah,
was thinking, I missed it.
yeah,
Yep, there we go. So that was at approximately 6:35 we came back, but you can put right now if you want.
I thought I was just missing it.
No, you
no, I think we've got a lot of motions here tonight. Moved by Counselor Richter, seconded by Counselor McVeigh, be it resolved that the public meeting is now closed at 6:35 and the regular meeting is reconvened. All in favor? That's carried. And the second quarter financial report is carried, then we have the municipal superintendent's report. I just wanted to recap for people listening that our municipal superintendent talked about. Well, one thing he didn't actually mention was that they are doing the locates for the speed signs. Why don't you tell us exactly the locations? Because I don't want to get it wrong.
Yeah, through you, Madam Chair, he did, forget to put that in, but we have moved forward with the locations, that was designated by council a few months ago. So we've, requested the locates, westbound on Minto Street in the approximate location. There's a hydro pool almost right across from First Street, so we're gonna put it in there. And then we've scouted out a location and spoke with the, some of the homeowners. It would be on westbound McDonald Street. I don't want to mention any names, but, it's an area where there's a higher concentration of children that are residents there. We've talked to the surrounding residents and they are, from what I understand, happy with the location we selected.
Would that be just before our little chunk of municipal property
Um,
on the opposite side of the road?
on the opposite side of the road, westbound past the creek, a little bit, a couple
Okay.
driveways
Yeah.
westbound. Yeah, so there is a pylon there. So if anyone wants to go by and if,
No, I'm pretty
Yeah.
familiar with it.
yeah, there's a pylon there right now, so we are working on it.
He did also mention that they did work on the pavilion. And that they are working on doing kind of a large road repair, I think, to undergo ourselves with some of the reclaimed asphalt. So it's pretty rough out there right now, this one little section, but it would be very expensive to call someone in right now. So our superintendent is going to do his best to try to patch it for the winter. Yeah, any other comments about the superintendent's report?
I'd like to say that the summer students and the public works superintendent did a beautiful job on the pavilion. If anybody's taken the time to go down there and see the pavilion, it was rough. It looks really good.
Oh, it had holes
Yeah, but
in,
it looks good,
yeah.
paint job, everything, everybody did a great. I take the dog there all the time and I wheeled down there and went, right away when I started walking, I'm like, something's different, what's going on? And I drive by there all the time, didn't notice him in there, and then it looks really good, something to be proud of.
I think it makes a difference when we tidy up, right? When that wasn't an expensive thing. I think we had wood that we were storing in there. It was like they intended to do it and they, you know, things get busy, so it didn't cost us anything, but. Moved by oh, sorry.
I said, this is probably a great summer for our students. They've done more work and the public has noticed what they've done.
Nice.
It's really important that they see, that we speak up to support our students, because they've done a heck of a job. On that.
Yeah, it's not an easy job to do, you know, going from working outside, and so, yeah, it makes a big difference
A
when,
hot summer and
it was a hot summer. No, you're right. So moved by Counselor Richter, seconded by Counselor McVeigh. Be it resolved that council accepts the municipal superintendent's report as presented. All in favor? That's carried. Next we have the fire chief report, but did I understand that he wanted to be here?
I was thinking he was here, going to be here.
Should we, is it a work schedule issue? Is that,
Here too.
should we defer it or?
if you just give me a second, I'll check if he's.
Sure, why don't we take a 5-minute break? You can check. Okay, we're back in session and our fire chief has a report to council, and I believe that you wanted to speak to your report, fire chief? No? Okay,
Sorry, just let me,
oh,
record. Sound.
are you open to us asking questions? So, I mean, the big issue for me was the lights on the truck. So does anyone have any questions?
I have no problem with it because I was in the fire department too, and usually the fire chief, he comes to the hall when there's a call out. And then he leaves to go over there. You know, he comes to make sure that got enough firemen to go over there, and then he leads the way. And we should have the lights and sign, I would think. Be safe.
Is that what you're thinking, chief, that it would be for separate transportation?
For many years, we'll reference my father did have a red light in his vehicle for long as I was in the fire department, right? And just come to the point where times have changed. I've been in the fire department for over 30 years now, and I've been a chief for going on 10. The struggle is getting there all the time. And I find myself putting myself, other people and the municipality at risk all the time. I mean, it's a risk no matter what, whether I have my personal vehicle, whether I'm running a green light, whether I'm running red lights with a siren. But in order to get into an emergency, in a prompt amount of time, with the safety of others in mind, this is the designate, you know, most municipalities around us have emergency vehicles to respond to their calls, but we don't have the funding to provide, me or myself to pick up for fire services. So, my biggest concern is safety, overall. Number one, in getting there. Number two, protecting the people while I get there, and getting there in order to, you know, protect the victims in the event of an accident, house fire. It's not a luxury, glorious thing I want to parade around with. It's not, it's come time and time again that I can't get to an accident. I am busy in life, you know, I chose to be chief and run the fire department. But many times that I have to go, I'm here, there, or elsewhere. And it takes me a great amount of time to get to some of these places. Sometimes I'm there first, but the majority of the time, by the time we get the call, it's already too late, right? When we get a call to go to an accident, there's already a lineup of traffic, and it's hard to get through there, so, you know. It's hence the reason they put light sirens on cop cars and fire trucks and ambulances. It's to get the attention of people while they're trying to get to an emergency, or, you know.
But the other municipalities, I think Espanola might have a vehicle that they give their,
They do,
They're super-
their chief, whoever acting chief on weekends, replacement days, they have a full-time assist vehicles.
But Baldwin or Sable Spanish River, they don't.
All Spanish had one at one time, and so everybody's got many. It's not like it's something new, it's just, I try to find a way, to look at it on a positive side. We don't have one, we can't afford one. So, you know, other municipalities have one. So what can I do? And I was fortunate enough to, you know, get in contact with Morgan Alcock, who's fire chief in the township of Waitfleet, and, you know, which is this side of Niagara Falls, and he runs a large volunteer fire department, and he's a full-time chief, and he uses his own personal vehicle in that realm. So this is how it come to light, right? Because I never ever thought that, you know, there would ever be an opportunity even to present this.
Yeah, so I think you've explained on why you need it. So if I remember correctly from what you were thinking before, was it that you were paying to install the lights?
There was many discussions. We never had any, you know, things got tabled, things got dropped. You know, it's all on, you know, council. I asked for assistance for sure. I'll say I can do it myself, you know, there's no. I'm not, you know, leading to anything stopping, you know, the decision from my part. To take the chief's job serious, and I've done it for a long time and put my heart and soul into it, so adding another piece of this to the puzzle, you know, is not, something that, you know, would steer me in another direction.
I've asked a few questions. Does anyone have any other
I do.
questions? All right.
Rules around like designated emergency vehicles, does Nairn take on any liability if you've got sirens on, or
So Nairn takes liability whether I drive my vehicle with no lights, with volunteer lights, or lights and sirens. And you're 100% accountable for
Okay.
me when I leave to go to the emergency with my personal vehicle. Whether I have, like I said, no lights.
So
I
the
drink my-
siren would make you safer?
I feel it does. I mean, you know, cop cars don't shut their lights off, and fire trucks don't shut their lights off going to an emergency, right? They leave them on and they make a bunch of noise, and that's how we get there safely.
And that's an addition to the, like, don't you usually have green flashing lights?
Volunteer is green,
Yeah,
yeah.
oh, so you're not a
I'm
volunteer.
asking for either blue and red, which I'm allowed to proceed with it under the Highway Traffic Act, or I, you know, kind of ease the, I'm gonna say, rookie OPP squadron, and just stick with a red and white light, right? Like not go blue and red, cause, you know, I deal with it lots, and, you know, we know some of the things.
They wouldn't be happy?
So I asked Morgan about it. He's ran blue and red, so that's standard, you know, and EMS runs blue and red. Any of the new fire vehicles in the service are blue and red. The ambulance is blue and red now, you know, where they never were before. You know, fire was red and white, but as, you know, adapted to the color, because we obviously see what the color is. You know, the white is not bright, but you see that blue and red, the
Yeah.
blue really, it's piercing to the eye, actually.
So that would be an issue possibly to take to the OPP to make sure. You know, if we are, that, I just think that's another question. Sorry, do you have any more questions?
I didn't understand.
Counselor
Yeah, so
Richter,
I provided it's been provided many times, under the Highway Traffic Act, how it's covered. I put it in my reports, last year twice, I think. Yeah, just me.
how it's covered?
Yeah, so how the process is done, how it's approved, and then what act it falls under the Highway Traffic Act.
So I think, in the report, there was a little bit of preliminary information about insurance. I don't think you feel like you've really looked into this matter 100%.
Like I can speak on it.
Well, actually, just a second, Celia.
Yeah, through you, Madam Chair, I apologize to everyone. I knew that this was something we were gonna be looking into. We kind of switched directions a few times.
Mhm.
So I didn't, the last motion I had from council was to consult a legal counsel on it. So since we had switched directions, I didn't keep proceeding with that. So I'm not sure what council wants me to do as far as that matter, but I did have time to contact our insurance broker, so that communication is in the agenda package. And just to speak on further what Richard has said, he's right. Anytime someone is proceeding to a scene, whether they're in a personal vehicle, a designated fire truck, or an emergency type response vehicle, there is risk always to the municipality. It doesn't matter if it's identified, if there's a green light, red and blue lights, no lights, if you're responding.
In your vehicle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why we carry an additional insurance for non-owned vehicles are for instances like that. So I did speak with our insurance broker. He is familiar with this request. He did not seem to have an issue with it. The only thing he did mention, and it's been brought up in other municipalities, that the insurance would have to first be under Richard's name, under his personal insurance. He would have to disclose that the vehicle is I'm gonna grab his
Probably
report.
being used as an emergency.
As a type of emergency response vehicle. He did say that minimum would be 2 million commercial liability, but they would recommend not less than 5 million. So that's up to council to decide what they, if we're gonna proceed with this. I personally do not have issues with the lights or sirens on the vehicle. I think it's a good idea. I think it keeps them safe, and we all have been traveling when there's closures for accidents or whatever reason. People are not respectful even of the emergency vehicles. I was just traveling the other day and a police officer came up and an ambulance came up behind me. The amount of people that didn't pull off was ridiculous. So I can only imagine how hard it would be to get to a scene.
Still have the time to write the fines, you know?
Yeah, and that is, and I'm like, like, did you not just see that these, like you said, they have other concerns that are pressing? But I do think it would get you there safer.
And what were you going to say,
But it was
chief?
just in regards to what Belinda said, so I spoke with him. I started the conversation involved and as it fell off the table in there, and then when I was chief involved, and we brought the conversation up, and Tim had on the municipal insurance had first said, no, this is, not a good idea. And so then I said, well, can we speak on it? So we had a Skype meeting face to face. I explained my situation. He says, okay, I understand. I really do. So then, yes, that's where it come into the, I'm gonna be very open. I left Malden for this reason.
What's involved in installing it?
Nothing. Putting anything else. And I buy a package, I spend the time and, I can bring my truck down and spend $6,000 and have it equipped, or I can possibly, buy things from Lights and Speed and, spend $1,000 and put it in myself, It's just like putting an add-on to anything else. There's nothing that I need. Need control flasher of red and white or red and blue lights, two in the grill, two in the visor, two in the rear lights. And then, and a noisemaker, like that's all I need, something to get somebody's attention, that's all it is. But back to my conversation, my insurance company is willing to up my insurance from 1 million to 2 million liability, and know that that's what it's for. We had the conversation already. But I cannot go to 5 million as it becomes commercial insurance, and my salary as fire chief of the municipality does not even come close to paying the insurance for you, so that's a tough one.
Well, Theo Ketchbot, you didn't need to apologize for, not having. Yeah, this has been kind of on the back burner and talked about it, and not talked about for a bit, and you've been busy doing other things, but. I think I would like to recommend that you have the time to look at it. And, check out any other, so previously we had encouraged you to look at the legal ramifications. And, you know, so then if we're moving forward, everybody knows what we're getting into and, the Ts are crossed and the Is are dotted.
Yeah, I can certainly reach out if that's council's direction. The insurance part, like you said, we've already looked into that. Council will need to make a recommendation on insurance broker's recommendation, but I think it would be not long, it wouldn't take a lot of time just to touch base with our legal counsel first.
And so chief, just so I'm clear, is there any way you wanna nail down like financial expectations or lack of financial expectations?
No, I'd like to move forward and take the next step if we proceed forward. You know, I could put recommendations forward, put some stuff forward. Where we can, you know, next month and, you know, maybe we can come to an agreement, we don't.
And I think we need to make note that Chief Austin is fine with $2 million insurance, but not 5. Cause I think the way the insurance worded it, I don't know. I'd have to look at it again.
It's worded 2 to 5 million. 5 million recommended.
Yeah.
Minimum 2. Maximum 5 recommended.
And I can speak just a little bit more to that, if that's fine.
Sure.
So the way it happens is if there was an incident, Mr. Austin's insurance would do coverage first. So if he had the 2 million, and there was a lawsuit or an incident and there was a judgment, his insurance would be exhausted first. And if the judgment was higher, then it would move over to our policy of non-owned, which has the 5. I believe the reason why the broker was suggesting the same, it was just to match what we were matching. Because we all know with accidents, sometimes the judgments can be over the top high. But I did ask him the question, like, what would be, if something happened to Mr. Austin in his personal vehicle, how would this go down? Goes, no matter what, the township would be named in the lawsuit. So,
They have one. I told you.
yeah, so
How would that happen? I've been having 2 million on my vehicle forever.
So they have coverage.
Wow.
Okay, so do we have a motion?
So what's council directing me just to look into the legal over the next month? and
Please,
present?
and also any other information that, just this issue generally. I think if everyone's fine with that, just to, you know, just so then we have the information. We.
Oh,
Would the fire chief be able to prepare some estimates for our next meeting?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so moved by Karen Richter. Well, we're gonna remove Counselor McVeigh and put Counselor McDonald. Moved by Counselor Richter, seconded by Counselor McDonald, whereas council has received the fire chief report dated September 3rd, 2025, requesting that his personal vehicle be declared as an emergency response vehicle and that the emergency lights and sirens be approved to added this vehicle, and be it resolved that council directs the CAO to look further into this request and prepare a report for the next council meeting regarding this request. All in favor? Carried. That's great. Thanks for coming. You're welcome to stay.
sorry, I was late. Somebody doesn't tell me that, say.
Don't worry that they call them.
There's a couple of donuts. We're all done, right? Yeah.
There you go, you got the lights.
I think it's fine to get lights yet. It looks more promising though. You've already.
Next, we have correspondences. Thank you so much. Thanks for your time. Thanks for what you do. Moved by Counselor Austin, second by Counselor McDonald, be it resolved that the correspondence items A to F are noticed as received. All in favor? Carried.
This is the donation request.
Oh, how does everyone feel about send a kid to camp?
Is that too late?
Well, maybe it's gotta be for next year.
Well, I thought it was for this year. I didn't know what.
It said 2025, I thought, that's why I kind of chuckled.
It's because we received it after our last council meeting. so-
Okay, so I think I was the one that was the Grinch and said no last year. So I say we don't do it again.
I say so too. It's a lot of kids. And
If we said no, then it's no.
We said no in 2024. I
Yeah.
know we did, I know we did.
I'm okay with no.
Okay. Moved by Counselor McDonald, second by Counselor Austin, whereas council has received a donation request for send a kid to camp program, and be it resolved that council agrees to donate $0. All in favor?
Didn't it say thank you for last year's?
It was the year before that we actually.
Yeah, it was 23.
Yeah.
And then we have the valet spill update. One notable thing I noticed was that the water flows through April 1st to July 15th. I thought that was interesting, that nothing stops it because of the fish. Do we need to accept that at all? No. And then, the decision of Mark Stewart, Ministry of Energy and Mines, regarding the relocation
Well,
of
you gotta
Niall
thank-
View.
We gotta thank Mark for all his hard work and everything he did to make this not happen. What a great man. I'll be on record. Say, thanks, Mark.
It probably was a lot of work for the Ministry of Energy and Mines that is not happening. It's going somewhere else, but it's great news for us. And, you know, I think this is a great time to say, well, first of all, CAO Ketchaba, you were fantastic, excellent. We're gonna do. But I think everyone did their job. I think we as council voted the right things at the right time. I think La Cloche was a great support system financially, and, you know, even people just showing up in the audience and being upset. If no one showed up to the media, to the meeting would not have been here, and
Kudos to the media as well for picking it up.
yeah, I sure have a new appreciation for local news.
And our
Because,
local representatives as well.
yeah,
They showed up.
who do you, oh, you mean our local news journalists?
You know,
MPs, MPPs.
Yeah, yeah. And those MPs and MPPs really kind of directed us what to do, because we were like, what's next? And they're like, oh, sit down, we'll tell you. That's what we needed, right? That's so,
If I could say maybe a thank you letter to them and
oh, yes, they've already gotten one and I'm
Yeah.
sending another. I was sending some tonight at the beginning of the meeting, yeah. And yeah, especially the ones with, you know, when we found out about it in last August or, you know, a year ago. You know, meeting with us in the summer and appreciating that it was a big deal to us. So anyway, I just think everybody, we got lucky and it worked. They listened to us and, yeah.
and I think those tailings are now on radar, so we're gonna be monitoring what they do there ongoing, better than it had been.
Yeah, for sure. And maybe that's another win, that we watch our little mine and make sure.
They said, what, 2026, they're gonna finish that,
Yeah.
so. Cause we still got an issue up there. And now we all know we got an issue up there. So now we need to fix that issue.
Yeah,
And the concern I had is they said they were changing the culverts on the mine road. Well, how come they're only changing in one place? Manistic Creek crosses in two places with two 10-foot culverts at each site, but they're only changing the one side.
maybe only
And they
one
were
is,
all put in at the same time.
Maybe only one's bad.
yeah,
Well, how did they? Like the ones they're changing, there's 2 feet out of the bottom of the culvert. 10-foot culvert. But the other one, there's water in it, you can't see.
Yeah.
That's
Looks fine.
okay, I guess.
okay, is there anything else
Good
for
color.
what's that for correspondences, nothing else? And how about Township of Black River Matheson, the request for exemption to the proposed mandatory firefighter certification requirements?
I completely agree with,
Yeah,
they need an exemption, they need a volunteer firefighters course or setup for volunteer men, not the same as full-time.
are we agreed?
Yes.
Moved by Counselor Austin, second by Counselor McDonald, be it resolved that the Council of Township of Nairn and Hyman hereby supports the Township of Black River Matheson resolution requesting exemptions to the proposed mandatory firefighter certification requirements under Ontario Regulation 343/22. And further that a copy of this resolution be circulated to the Premier of Ontario, the Solicitor General, MPP Rosenberg, the Ontario Fire Marshal, AMO, Phenom, and the Township of Black River, Matheson, all in favor. That's carried. Oh, and then we have an invitation to attend the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing. October 21st and 22nd, there's a cost of $80. So each, but first we're gonna do this. Moved by Counselor McDonald, second by Counselor Austin. Be it resolved that other business items 11A is noted as received. All in favor? That's carried. So that's the same issue. I think Counselor Richter, you said that you were interested in attending.
Yep.
I think I am available. It is in Azilda, so that makes it easy to attend. And actually, do you want to speak to it for a minute? Cause I don't really know
Yeah,
what to expect.
yeah, through you, Madam Chair. They don't do these, as often as I think they should. Normally the trainings are for clerks and treasurers only, but as you know, being a counselor is quite complex and there's lots of intricacies and you're probably sick of hearing about all the rules just from me or potentially the integrity commissioner. So they've offered this training to councils all throughout all northern Ontario. It's low cost. Basically, they're just recouping their food costs. The food is generally always great. And
Don't tell Trevor.
yeah, so this would be my first time attending with council to an event put on by the ministry, so I'm looking forward to it and I hope everyone that can attend will.
Awesome.
Is anyone else interested?
No,
Counselor McDonald,
No, I pass.
Counselor McVeigh?
Okay, so I will register the two of you and yeah, we'll see you there.
We'll report back.
There you go.
They love it when we report that. And then do we move to other business?
Yeah.
Okay, so Counselor Austin, you have brought up an issue of driveway entrances. Do you want to speak to that?
yes, I looked into other municipalities. And we are allowing somebody to work on municipal property without insurance or anything else. And anything that happens on that, we are liable. And we don't have a standard laid out as to how to put a culvert in. when I read the standards for the city of Sudbury, you have to dig the culvert out and put gravel, make sure the ditching, make sure your roadway is tapered away from the road. None of this was done the last time, and I noticed it, and I didn't know we didn't have a bylaw. I think we should update our bylaw to meet some of these requirements.
Does anyone else have any concerns about driveways? Our driveway bylaw?
No, I agree with Councilor.
So why are you interested at this time? You've just noticed that there was,
Well, I looked at our bylaw, and it basically has nothing, you can put in a thing, culvert. Well, for instance, you go to the city of Sudbury, that has to be a licensed person with insurance to work on municipal property. They're working there and or whatever insurance the household has or whatever, you're not insured to work on municipal property.
is that what we legally consider it? Because let's say I'm cutting my grass on the. Is it really municipal property and I get injured there? I don't,
I have a story to tell. We extended the driveway at my place in Lively. And one of the neighbors complained because it was over 20 feet. So I got Michael Vagnini involved because the bylaw officer came and I said, do you really want me to go to every other place in Lively where the driveway is more than 20 feet and some of them have that fine interlocking stone? And he just looked at me and went, oh, I'll make it go away. So having it there is one thing, enforcing it is another. And do we have the time and the effort and the people to manage a new and improved policy when you
Well,
can't.
I'm not saying change what is there. But have the policy properly written up so that it's put in properly, the way it should be. We're responsible for the culvert after it's in. So if it isn't put in right,
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree with you.
you know, we gotta update our bylaw to today's things.
I have a lot of questions now. So we are responsible for the town is responsible for the culvert that someone else puts in.
After it's installed, yeah, we take,
That's a good deal.
we take,
For who?
Not the town,
but
everything.
at least in Sudbury, it had to be a metal one and it had to be a certain gauge.
Thickness.
Yeah.
But that's true with ours. We don't allow plastic culverts because someone has actually promoted it to me to say it's half the cost or whatever it was, but. Do you wanna speak to you're the one that deals with these on the regular issues, so do you feel there is a need for us to. Raise the bar for our culvert expectations?
through you, Madam Chair, respectfully, we have not had an issue up to this point. There was a requested revision that I worked on in 2019. Where a council member had put forward the idea to include the PVC. Culverts to be allowable in our bylaw, that was turned down by council at the time. So to be honest, we just didn't keep working on it. Could it be better? Of course, any bylaw or policy can be better. So it's just, does council want the effort and time spent researching what other municipalities do for best practice, which is probably a good idea. But to Councillor Richter's point, I don't know if we have the staff to be constantly enforcing it, but we do issue permits.
Yeah,
We do go out and inspect, and to this point, there hasn't been an issue, but if that's something that council directs us to start working on, we can certainly.
But with you dealing with the culverts, you're not. This isn't high on your priority, that this is an area that I guess, okay, my question is. Are there chronic issues with this that you as the town have had to deal with?
To date, no. The only time we've had issues is when people slip, make a secondary back driveway into a laneway and they're not putting in the appropriate culverts, and then all of a sudden there's water issues. That is an issue we have, and we do have a commercial property that we've had some concerns about the culverts they've installed without a permit.
But those people aren't gonna get a permit anyways till they get caught.
To your point, correct? Yeah.
But the policy we have, it's like any entrance installed that does not comply may be removed and all costs will be levied. So we have.
If it does not comply with what?
Oh,
There's no standards for putting it in,
with the provisions. of
other
this
than the
bylaw.
distance.
The
I think it is mentioned what type of culvert it has to be, but
Yeah,
to Wayne's point, it doesn't say how deep. It does need to be buried or
and
further, but
over.
I just took it, like the public works superintendent had to sign off on it, so he would make sure that it
Yeah.
was. That it was to his spec, or to the specs that he needs it to be at. Cause I don't know what, I don't know. the
And if
specs.
not, you'd start over, yeah, but we don't specify the specs, right?
just of the culvert itself.
Yeah,
But you're right, if it has to be inspected. I think if we're not currently having chronic issues.
well, that doesn't mean that we can't do a really good policy.
Yeah,
I also think that what I see. If you call a contractor to install one of those. What are you, $600-700 now for the installation of one? Yeah, it's way more than that.
It's way
Okay.
for that.
That may, that might hurt some people that wanna put houses in and build a house.
Yeah, it might.
Yeah,
If we don't do it right, though, you're not,
well, this is,
But that's the building permit in the first place, right?
yeah, that's for their town foreman should be
Yeah.
watching.
yeah, if you have it inspected already, that's.
But to Counselor Austin's point, it's like the
you wanna
compliance
allow
is-
people to doing work on municipal roads and not be insured or not have any guidelines. That's what you're allowing.
Are they working on municipal roads?
Yes.
They're,
It's attached to the road, that's what you're making. We've got. Last little while, you got 2 or 3 residents that you can see put it in built houses or have lots that have all done it, and do they have the proper insurance? I don't know any of them, I know them, but I know they don't have the
Yeah.
proper insurance.
what proper insurance do you need?
Commercial insurance to be able to work on to
You don't
install,
have
install
insurance cover
culvert,
liability if
holes,
something happens.
roadway into your property. Just did it.
You can't do it yourself.
I don't know if you can, cause you're on municipal property.
They're not on your property doing the work, you're on somebody else's.
That
Maybe.
sounds like a lot of bureaucracy.
Well, that's what I'm saying, you open
Yeah.
up the can of worms we know a couple people.
Yeah. I know several places in town that weren't put in properly,
Yeah. Well,
but now we're responsible for them. I mean, nothing's happened, but
Well, how do they pass inspection?
what inspection? Is the culvert in? Yeah, the road there, good, okay.
Well, maybe CAO Ketchabah would like to, so are you feeling like inspections are happening like when they should be?
Through you, Madam Chair, as far as I understand, we have made some refinements in this process in the past. Perhaps the proper consideration wasn't given, but over the last 3 years, I would say we've really cracked down on it. Are the inspections perfect? Well, I don't know. I don't know anything about culverts personally, so. If I send out the municipal foreman and he says, yes, it passed, and he signs off on it, I just have to assume that it was put in appropriately, but if council wants stricter rules, I can certainly look into it. I just need some time to do it.
So what I'm saying is, you put a culvert in, they tell you right off you have to excavate the property where the culvert is gonna be. And you have to put gravel down to make sure it's level. You can't just take a culvert and roll it in the ditch and throw gravel on top of it. That's not the proper way of doing it. We've got no guidelines as to tell them they have to do that to put a culvert in.
So are you really stuck on the fact that you would like people to get a professional?
No, they don't have to get a. There's local contractors that will do it. At whatever price, it's expensive first off to buy a culvert. They're not cheap anymore, probably $1,500. to buy a 20-foot culvert. So, but if you don't put it in right, now we're responsible. If it. Just for example, if it was a foot higher in the middle when they put it in, and then the culvert breaks next year because wasn't that, we gotta replace it.
But we would know about that if we were replacing many culverts, so I don't think I'm hearing that that is an issue. Cause we even keep reserve culverts sometimes, just in case. But I don't know,
What
so.
I'm saying is we need guidelines for installation. If you don't have any, how do you approve or disapprove somebody's installation? I can look at them that were done, and the driveway's higher than the road. Which is not a proper installation, it's supposed to taper away from the road if the ground allows it.
So Counselor McDonald, you would also like to see more, driveway culvert installation guidelines. Counselor Richter, what would you like to see?
I don't.
Counselor McVeigh?
I don't see it as a real big issue, so.
Yeah.
I'm not. Not something, nobody's coming in banging on the door, having a conniption.
Yeah, I'm not super excited. It is something though, like you, if you've raised it, we can keep our eyes peeled and you will know, so I don't know what, we need a motion,
Okay.
right? Or,
Is there a way? Where we can say, okay, here's your spec sheet. That you have to do, and that's it, then our town foreman has to make sure it complies.
yeah,
I
that
can
might,
think,
that
I
might
can
be
think
good.
of two, I
information.
can think of, I know 2 driveways that are done in town, and nobody signed off on them, nobody asked, they just did them. I'm not, I shouldn't say they didn't, I know one for sure, the other one I don't know about, but I know one for sure did it, and just did it, so. You know what I mean, there's,
I mean, if you look at it, our superintendent has no guidelines to follow, other than his own.
There
Well,
must be
he
some,
he would
because,
have his experience from NCON.
Yeah.
And his highway work, he would definitely have his own.
but there
Sounds
are
great.
some guidelines, cause people have talked to me about the metal versus PVC and
Well,
they're.
That's in here.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's in there, but it's the depth,
Okay,
it's the levelness, it's, cause I don't know either, but I'm just saying. It doesn't seem to be a big concern, so if we were able to find a, hey, this is what you have to do, and that's it. then
do you think that's acceptable to just have like a general culvert information?
It would have to be approved as a schedule to that bylaw, or else we couldn't enforce it. So,
I could see that though, like, I don't,
Is that a huge amount of work? Is that what you're-
not necessarily,
But we just pass it at the next meeting and,
I think I would ask for a little bit of time, just because I'd have to talk to other municipalities.
I also think,
Understand just kind of what the ins and outs are of enforcing it.
I also think we are not the city of Greater Sudbury. That I think I think sometimes people move to Nairnhyman because they don't wanna be in a big city. I'm not saying we shouldn't have rules, I'm not saying that.
And then a big city that doesn't pay attention to any of the rules for 50% of the people in my neighborhood. What's the point? I understand that we take liability and responsibility for the culvert going forward.
You take responsibility for when they're installing it. They're working on the roadway.
Yeah.
I do not, yeah, this is
Okay.
a big thing on my radar.
Okay,
but,
so what would, I need some direction. for
Yeah.
motion.
No,
Do you want me to just say that council directs the CAO to do some extra research on specs and installation and present it at the next meeting?
yeah, sure, I am just,
Well, sorry, I can't commit at the next.
yeah, no, that's fine.
meeting.
Yeah, get our $89,000 back first.
Yeah.
That's. my
Well, yeah, there's so many things to do all the time that that's what it is. We have to decide where the time goes. Your time.
Can I commit to the November meeting?
Can you?
Yeah.
No, I'd leave it up in the air. Some other disaster will happen before then.
Well, culvert season's almost over.
That's what I'm thinking. Moved by Counselor Austin, second by Counselor McDonald, whereas council has received the notice of motion from Counselor Austin to discuss updating driveway entrances bylaw 2005-12. And be it resolved that council directs the CAO to research guidelines and policies for culvert installation and report back to council. All in favor? That's carried. And next. I think that we should have some kind of celebration. I don't know what. So I think it was in the notes, that, we could possibly have a small party and invite councils that helped us, politicians, the First Nations group. There was a cost, I estimated very loosely. Or we could do a party for the public. Will the public come? I'm not sure. And there were different costs involved. I don't know. What does everyone think? Should there be some kind of celebration? Let's start with that.
I think so.
Thank you, Counselor Richter. I think it's been a big deal.
It's a big deal. If we're going to, my big thing is to build more of a community. I think there was a time when everybody knew everybody in this neighborhood, and it might have changed a little bit, but all of those people who came here and showed up, really showed up. And they're part of the neighborhood, right? Celebrate together.
Counselor McVeigh?
I agree, but I think it could be small. It wouldn't have to be much. You know what I mean? If you had an afternoon thing.
Yeah,
Just
just have to
have-
be much, just
Yeah.
show up when you show up.
You know what I mean? And just some cake and some water and some.
Oh, you don't think we need to do a barbecue
I don't
or?
think so. I think if you had people come and just said thanks, that's my own opinion. I don't think you need to spend a ton of money, just. Hey, look at this is what we're doing, and
So no
the
liquor?
other part of it is, does our staff even have time to do this? As we're listening to all the stuff she has to do, they have to do. So it's
See,
easy
yeah.
to say, we wanna do this, but is it fair? To somebody that's put in a ton of time to do this, to plan our party?
CAO Ketchba wasn't gonna do it. I was gonna do it.
Okay,
She made that clear.
well, that's great, cause I wanted to make sure that that
No.
was not fair.
I mean, the only area I'm fuzzy in is if we wanted to do alcohol. So,
Would the rec committee be interested in doing something like that?
yeah, probably they would help out. So it just, yeah,
Ask
it's,
them.
yeah. I think there are people that would help and I don't think. Yeah, it had, yeah.
I think there's some residents that came and voiced their opinion very loudly and were very concerned, that would come to this and just say, hey, thanks for doing it. and it'd be good for us to say thanks to them as well. Like, I just don't wanna put out a lot of money. Like, I know it sounds ridiculous, but, we fight over budget on 1%, 2%, blah, 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 blah. And then we're gonna blow 1% on a party.
We've spent enough on
I know,
Niobe.
yeah, we've spent
Yeah,
a lot
we
of
have
money.
spent, we have spent
So,
money on
I think we
Niobe.
have to be conscious of what we're gonna. But I do believe there's some residents here, I didn't know, I haven't been around for 26 years. Like the gentleman across from me, but you know what I mean, there's a lot of people here that I got to meet, and then they called. And I didn't know who they were prior to, but they live here, they live on the. You know, the creek or the lake or the back road, whatever, so it's,
Was my hearing correct? Did you say 26?
well, I didn't wanna say 86.
So Counselor Austin, what do you think? Should we have a party?
Well, I'm of the same opinion as Trevor. I don't wanna see a bunch of money spent. And I'm just wondering if you couldn't work it into our Christmas dinner.
That was an idea that CAO Ketchabah had.
Invite these extra guests.
Then what do you do with the
Yeah.
38 people that came from Sudbury that, or from other?
No, but you invite these people.
I know, but you gotta feed, you gotta feed them.
Actually, the Christmas dinner is a much more expensive event. It does help in the sense of we have a bar already.
The other thing is, I think if you do it in the afternoon, you get the municipal people that you helped out. I'm not knocking the municipal people, but if they're not getting paid, they may not come. No, I know lots of unionized people and municipal people and, you know, private, not from non-profit, they're coming. If we do it in the afternoon, they will come.
So you're saying during the week,
Yeah.
in the afternoon, yeah, cause that doesn't really. Help all of the people that kind of attended the town hall meetings. Those people aren't gonna be around. in the
Well, what if it's a
afternoon.
6 o'clock thing?
Yeah, or even maybe catch it from at 5 to 7, I don't know, or,
4 to
4 to
6,
6.
4 to 7,
I-
couple hours, come and go.
yeah, Counselor McDonald, what do you think?
I'm curious about that. But I've been here all my life in Narren, and like she said that we used to know everybody. Now I go to the mail or go someplace in town, I don't know half the people now. But no, I think I agree with Mr. Austin. That is very small, something maybe, but
Look, our biggest
even if
expense,
they send a flyer out or something, thanking the people for his, helping out once in a while.
I mean, that is an idea. You could put a little ad in the around and about. I don't know. I mean, it's expensive if it's not in the want ads, if I understand correctly for the.
100%.
I went to, one of my clients. They had a first anniversary and sort of a thank you, and the executive director got up and said, all right, now. This is gonna be like a movie at the end where you get the credits. I'm gonna list all the people that helped us out for the first year. And she just went on and on and on and on and on. But so many people were there. It was just a, come to this event. It's gonna be a first anniversary. I think they had some pizza and some stuff there, but everybody was there and it's like, now here's the list of credits.
Yeah,
And she just named all the people and it was like, everybody was there and everybody cheered and it was just really warm and fuzzy. But there was a lot of names, so. I mean, if we compiled a list of names of people who attended, who put their names on a thing, just, it can even be on the internet or the website.
Oh, so I don't know, we could get in trouble for listing everyone's name.
It's on a public petition, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was a public petition.
Or I don't know if people are leaving their names to be emailed to, I don't know, but then you're posting them publicly, I don't.
I don't know.
I like, but.
anyway, I just think, I agree, something small would be good. But we get close to budget time and
Yeah.
some people freak out over 1%. Or 0.5%, and now we wanna blow $1,000 on a party.
I wasn't saying I wanted to blow 1,000.
That's all I just read, 500 to 1,000.
No,
I don't think anybody would come here to drink.
Yeah.
Like, I really don't think that. I'm the drinker in the group and I'm gonna admit it. I'm gonna own it, or us. Okay.
We're on the right side.
Okay. Those are nice. They got a couple of years on it. They already had their time.
You practice.
But no, like, you don't come here to, like, I'd be coming here to have cake.
All right. Well, we can do that very efficiently.
Yeah,
So
we could do like cake and finger sandwiches and coffee and tea.
you could do a lot for even a couple of $100, which I don't think is
No,
ridiculous.
I believe we need to thank the people that came out, because there was a large group of people that came out. You know, and let's be honest, 98% of them were pretty good to deal with, like, you know what I mean? Like, they were respectful, they got upset, but they did a great job. I don't think we had it, you know, we had some minor head shakes, you know, like, but it was good for what was going on and people. And what it could have been, it was great.
Everybody was on the same page. I don't think anybody was on the opposite side.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yay, Niobium.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a good.
Bring it
fight.
in. Okay, would you like to pick a date now or, I
You're
think-
doing it, let us know.
You're doing it, just pick the date, that's amazing.
okay, like a Friday, 4 to 6 kind of thing?
Sure.
Or should it be in the week?
Sounds
Yeah, I-
like a
I would
good
actually
time for
probably say a
everybody to have
Wednesday or a
their
Thursday.
leave.
Okay, yeah, no, you're right.
Wednesday or Thursday, because a Friday's gonna mess up a weekend.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's
That's
Friday,
more time.
that's Friday, Saturday, Sunday for you guys on the other side of the room. That's a weekend now, not every day.
I thought
Okay.
it was everything.
No, that's
I
great.
love that Trevor just made Friday a weekend.
Yeah, well, I kinda did, sorry.
No, I'm
Friday
holding
and
you to it
Monday's part
now.
of the weekend.
Yeah. Mondays.
Municipal office is now closed on Friday.
Yeah, it's a weekend.
Just teasing.
So we don't have any matters for closed
Okay,
session.
did you want a motion on that? Or no?
Sure, do we need one? And,
Do we need a budget?
Well, if you're gonna spend money, you need a motion.
Yeah.
yeah, there's probably a lot of money in rec, actually.
Are you gonna pull it from them?
Well, if they're like, but is there somewhere else you would like $200 to come from? Or, generally, if we do a barbecue,
There probably is some miscellaneous funds sitting in rec, but I wouldn't want to.
Preempt them.
Yeah, like I would
Assume.
like, if they are offering it, sure, but if not, it could. I'm sure I have some miscellaneous funds that could be used. Okay, so directs that. How are we wording this? Sorry, you lost me there a little bit. Directs that a small thank you celebration be planned.
well, when we say small, we're kind of putting out the word generally to the
As
public.
a
think-
celebration.
I think you get 50, 60 people, you'll probably be lucky.
Yeah, I
But
don't
let's be
think,
honest,
yeah,
can
You don't
say-
get many people. I don't-
Yeah.
no, it's true. Yeah,
Still, you know what, we said thanks.
yeah,
That's the other
What do you
part,
call it, a thank you luncheon? or-
yeah,
yeah, thank you.
come and go.
Yeah, I don't know.
Celebration.
Yeah, thank you celebration, yeah. Yeah. And we'll invite the politicians that
Yeah.
helped us and.
If you wanna stand outside in the rain and cook bar hamburgers, it's all right.
Probably might be snow,
Yeah, we could
I'm
do
praying
some.
for snow for that, they would say 3 weeks from now.
Well, they said the last week in November, snow. That was the, what do you call it, farmer's almanac?
Yeah, it's never been right in 10 years, but let's go with it this year.
Yeah.
Do we have an agreed upon budget? Sorry.
Yeah, $200,
200?
Well,
okay, $300.
I can do 200. I'm gonna consider that a
Well, if you
challenge.
put 3 and you only use 2, we'll be even happier with you.
Give her 5.
Yeah,
No, I
$500.
don't need
Well,
5.
if you spend $350, then you don't have to come back to us.
Yeah.
There you go.
I would,
Maximum 5.
I was
Maximum
gonna
500.
spend whatever I wanted and just pay for it.
Unless
Yeah, I don't
something-
have that much of my miscellaneous funds, so it's just coming out of general funds.
Sure.
It's not, we're not gonna spend 500. We're probably not gonna do a barbecue. Okay,
I'm
I
with
wasn't
you.
married.
huh?
I'm with you.
Yeah, well, I don't know what we'll do, but I have to bake cakes, that'll be the way it is.
There you go, one helper already.
Oh, I
I'll
knew.
grab the cakes at Costco.
That's what I was gonna say, Costco has
Us
amazing
guys are no
easy
good at
cakes.
cooking, yeah.
Moved by Counselor McDonald, second by Counselor Austin, whereas council has received the notice of motion from Mayor Maisy to discuss the celebration of Agnew Lake. And be it resolved that council directs that the celebration be planned and a budget of $500 be allocated. All in favor? Carried.
This celebration is open to the public from anywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
We had people from Beaver Lake and
we did.
over McCarroll, Massey.
Yeah, Espanola. Yeah, no, it was good. It was a good show.
Nipissing.
Yeah.
Nipissing,
And their native
Manitoulin Island.
communities
Yeah,
a lot of people came.
yeah.
supported us.
Yeah, no, a lot of people did support us. Moved by Counselor Austin, second by Counselor McDonald, be it resolved that being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the council, of the corporation of the township of Narrenheim be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed in open council, and its number shall be 2025-25. All in favor? That's carried. Moved by Counselor McDonald, second by Counselor Austin, be it resolved that the meeting of September 8th, 2025 do now adjourn at 7:50 PM. To meet again on the 20th day of October or at the call of the mayor. All in favor? So that is October 20th.
Oh, yeah, that's-
It's very late because Thanksgiving is normally when we would do it.